Hi, this is Dave Bartosiewicz with Have You Experienced Jesus? You know, I got something that I need to show you. I don't know if you knew who I was before this. I've been an entrepreneur. I've had many different businesses. One of the businesses that I actually had that I did pretty well in was an advertising graphic company for about 18 to 20 years. I know a lot about branding. I got to tell you, when I used to be a photographer too, and I worked for a Jewish camp, a boys' camp in Massachusetts. And since I was a photographer, I was actually told by the owner of this camp, and it was a very wealthy, expensive camp. A lot of the boys from Manhattan would come, who were Jewish, come to this camp in the Berkshires of Massachusetts. Now, one of the things that I was told, and it was really important for me to know about, and they emphasize this because they wanted to make sure that when I produced this camp yearbook, because many thousands and thousands of people were going to see this, one of the things that they mentioned, they says, please photograph good-looking boys. Okay? So one of the things I did after the year I put this together, it was like a summer, and it had beautiful looking boys, and it was very inviting, and it was shown in a very graphically pleasant, beautiful way so that the owner of the camp could sell these people who were wanting to come to this camp, because this was in the 80s. He wanted to make sure that these people looked at this book and they go, wow, this is a beautiful place. My kid would be so happy to be a part of this camp. So I did this for 3 summers, but that was absolutely one of the things that the camp owner requested that I must do. Now, this was a branding technique, and I want to make sure you understand that, because I've seen that same technique with Mormonism. And I say this in a loving way, but I had a guy who's a friend who's a Mormon. He sent me a beautiful, if I could have a picture, hopefully I'll be able to show you the picture of this girl. She was a beautiful young girl. She had a beautiful radiating smile, blonde hair, blue eyes, just absolutely pretty, and it was so inviting to look at her and saying, wow, she has such a good heart. And she bore her testimony. She was from another church. She wasn't a Mormon. She had a boyfriend, and she didn't want to get involved in that, but she said that she didn't really know anything about Christianity. And what happened was her boyfriend brought her to the LDS church, and she basically felt the Spirit, and she never really felt something like that. And so she started learning more. And she met with the sister missionaries who were beautiful, pleasant, nice, friendly, loving. And they talked to her on the first day. They said, hey, if you know this is the truth, will you get baptized? And she said, oh, yes. And so that is a way, I don't know if you know, I've been in sales, I've been in marketing. This is sort of a tie down in sales to try to tie people down, right? So this girl kept, learning about Mormonism, and she felt it was right to get baptized. And so I just think that it's really interesting how this empire, this system of Mormonism, really tries to show beautiful people, and making sure that those people who are not Mormons, when they see this, they think to themselves, look at the life that I could have. It's amazing when I look at how beautiful of a life they have. I want that. And you know what? I got to tell you, for me, I came from a family that was a kind of a hard family. There was some really dysfunctionality in my family, and I wanted something better. And one of the ways that Mormonism really introduces Mormonism is through eternal families, and they don't drink, they don't smoke, they are a wholesome group of people. So you're not really going to be in a position to think negatively, and there's a lot of people who want that. So this is a branding tool, a branding way to hook people into this faith. Now, one of the things I want to share with you is this, is I sent back a picture to my Mormon friend, and it was a picture of a woman who was really, really ugly, and it was a person who had really big teeth. And I said, imagine if they actually put her in that video and says, I am a Mormon, if there would be many converts. Probably not, right? Probably wouldn't be. So when you look at Mormonism, one of the things you want to do is, yes, it looks like it has what we call the pink frosting on a beautiful cake. You know, they make the cake beautiful, and you see it represented in such an amazing way, right? Such an amazing way. So delicious, so flavorful that you just want to have that, right? And this is what Mormonism does. It's presented that way. When you look at many of the elders are always happy, cheerful, white shirts, ties, short hair. The girls, the sister missionaries, are dressed modestly. They come in and they want to teach you. They're happy. They try to show you this branding that we have it all. We are the best of the best, the cream of the top of the crop, right? We are the best. And so we are inviting you, who might be dysfunctional, who might be loathsome, who might have a lot of problems. We're inviting you to come into our village so that we can celebrate this incredible faith and religion to you, so that you can be like us, happy, smiley, bursting with love, right? Now, this really is what they do. They do this as a branding to have people to get hooked into this, because a lot of people want this. And they provide answers to questions they already know and give you these answers. Now, one of the things I want to share with you guys is this. When Mormons really are starting to convey this belief, if you're not educated with the Word of God, you're going to say, oh, that makes sense. Oh, that feels right. Oh, that is like perfect. That's really what I feel, right? And this is how they get into you. This is how they get into you. So I want you to know that this is really a way, this is how they approach you, this is how they get you hooked in, right? They get you hooked in this way. And, you know, for many people who don't like to question, hey, it's okay, they can have a really good life. But for those people who do question and start learning of the Word of God, and they start seeing conflicts, and they're so wrapped in that they're so entrenched into this system, maybe years and years and years after, that they cannot what? They cannot leave. They're so afraid to leave because all their business associates, their families involved, all their friends, they have a whole network, right? And they feel like, oh my gosh, this is not true, right? And what happens is then they have this sort of depression going on, because if they leave their wife, if they leave the LDS church, and their wife or their husband doesn't want to leave, or the kids, it's a great, great, great struggle, okay? So what we try to do is educate you about the truth. Now, my wife and I are going to be doing a big series, and we're going to do a series, If We Only Knew, We Would Never Have Joined the LDS Church. So we're going to be doing a series of the things that we believe are important for you who might be an investigator in this faith. And everything looks good. The pink frosting looks delicious. It's beautiful, delicious. But if you knew these things before getting baptized, you probably would never get baptized. So I say investigate. You could go on my whole, I have 280 videos of showing the differences between Mormonism and biblical Christianity. Or you could go also to many other sites. There's many other videos. I've interviewed a number of Mormons, and you could hear from them how they view things, and how Christians view things. But I just want to give you that heads up. And one of the other things I want to talk to you about is if you are interested in wanting to donate to the ministry, we are interested, my wife and I do this full time. And so if it's a passion in your heart and you feel like, I like Dave, I like what his message is, I've learned a lot from what he's doing, we continue to teach and teach and teach. But we now are actually doing this full time. So my wife and I don't work. And we are actually being helped by you. So if you are interested in wanting to donate something, you can go to, haveyoubexperiencedjesus.com/donations, and we'd love to have some of your help financially or with prayers. Either way, because I know there's a lot of people praying for us too as well. But I hope this helped you understand a couple things. And maybe you could give this to maybe a Mormon or an investigator who is searching about Mormonism with the missionaries. They need to understand. They need to understand the truth. We have a lot of truth out there. They're a good group of people. I am never denying that at all. They are a great group of people, but their theologies are very, very, very different than Christianity. Okay? So I want to make sure you understand that. God bless you guys, and thanks for watching.